they won. But I don't know how much more they're going to win if they play like they did on Sunday, because that was ugly. That was bad. Now, some of the other things that we're going to get into some more of these conversations, but it was a lot of blame to go around on the offense. And Tina Moore, I believe I saw this comment about when Sam got hit. When Sam got hit with that cheap shot early in the game, I said I normally sit in between David Harrison, Locked On Commander, shout out to D Harrison, and Felix Trammell from Fox Sports 1340. David Aldridge sits like right in front of me, so he can hear sometimes what I'm saying. And of course, Donna Hopkins, Lake Lewis are nearby. I said it, and I'm going to tell you all what I said. I said that might have scared Sam. Because here's the reality. Are they hitting in practice? Well, yes, sure, but not really. And he's not getting hit at all in practice. Even when there's contact, he's not getting sacked. I mean, that play would have resulted in a sack, but he's not getting sacked. And he's definitely not getting hit with cheap shots. He got clocked. All right. He got clocked. So I immediately said, oh, this is, you might be running on adrenaline right now, buddy, but that was a welcome to the NFL hit. Welcome to week one as QB. And that was definitely a cheap shot. It wasn't right. But I thought that might have thrown him off a little bit, because the reality is I don't know who that Sam Howell was. I'm going to tell you all. I would tell you if I saw something in practice. That is not what we watch in practice. That is not. And that is why when Coach first came into the press conference, if you all checked it out, he came in, he was fired up. He was fired up, but not in a positive way. Okay, because he even had to backtrack on something he said and say, hey, listen, let me be clear. I'm happy they won. I'm thrilled. Okay, but this can't happen. We have to play better. In the clip I did share with you all, he absolutely noted the boos, because hey, y'all know y'all got the booing out there, Commanders fans. Y'all definitely started booing out there, rightfully so. The game and the weather matched. It was kind of gloomy. Then the sky opened up, the rain, and then the sun started shining. And that's when things started looking up for the Commanders. But I can tell you this. The Arizona Cardinals are a bad team. They're very bad. They're not good at all. So that kind of struggle, will it give some go? Will it give some work, so to speak, for the offensive line and other pieces? Sure. But as the season goes on, you get little nicks here and there, injuries and things and that, and things don't work out the same. I already saw a comment come through from Joe Harris, and absolutely, we already talking about him, Sam Howell. We already are talking about him. Here's what Coach had to say today after some time watching the film about Sam Howell's performance. Well, it's one of those things where you're never as bad as you think and never as good as you think. There are some really good things that happened. There was some really good rhythm stuff that was on. There were some things that were just kind of like, oh, why'd you do that? I know he spent time this morning looking at the tape, sitting down with, the enemy, Tavita, Ken Zampese, and those things are just and those things are just kind of get a little corrections on those things. Now, on the 6 sacks, in comes conversation. Offensive line now officially enters the chat. But here's Coach's take to the media on what he thinks happened on those 6 sacks. Well, pretty much what you talked about, there were a couple things that for us, we missed the protection. We thought something was going to happen. And because of that, we came off of a switch too soon. Then we actually had one where we had a little foot traffic and one of our guys got tripped up. Then a couple times we probably should have gotten rid of the ball. It's a combination of things. It's all things that are corrective ball, things that we should get better and we expect to get better with. Now, I saw Joe Harris's comment about that as well. He was holding on the ball too long. Absolutely. And I'm going here to tell you, I don't know. There was a few times. And Sam Howell, because there's a lot of Sams in that building, Sam Howell was honest in his presser as well. Can definitely share some commentary and some clips on that for sure. But it wasn't him. And so it wasn't him. And the only thing that I could gather is that the lights are on now and you're not getting hit by your teammates, and you are and nobody's showing you any grace, right? We knew that the defense was far outperforming the offense, but they're not clobbering each other in practice. They're not trying to hurt each other. They're not doing that at all. So now it's the moment Ish got real. And I think he had to settle down. I mean, that was the only thing I could gather. I said, oh my gosh, he's nervous. He's got to be nervous because this is not him. Not him. And it was a combination of things. Now, I had always been asking, and I'd always been talking about the offensive line. This offensive line is just coming together. And I definitely want to acknowledge this comment from Melvin Russ McCray is what you get from a young QB that played 2 games. It's real. And I mean, it's going to improve, but that offensive line, the thing with the offensive line, and I knew this was going to come up. This was going to happen. And it was, how long can they hold up? What we saw in week 1 was that you get one good half. You get one good half out of them. One solid half. What ended up transpiring in the first half, it wasn't so much about that offensive line getting beat. They started getting beat down in the second half. But in the first half, it was the mistakes. Sam had some mistakes. There were several drops. And those mistakes can't happen because you know you're dealing with an offensive line that the clock is for sure ticking. You got 30 minutes out of them, and that's it. They're done. And so it was a play. He was nervous. And the play that Joe Harris is talking here, it was Diami. Diami was wide open on the left side. And he didn't see Diami. And that was when I knew he's nervous. They run that play all the time in practice. You know where Diami is. You know where he is. What happened? They won though. They won. But that's going to be a tough watch if this continues. And I can assure you all that is not the team that I have watched practice since May. No. It wasn't even everybody. I haven't seen Antonio Gibson fumble in a long time. Not in practice, not on a game day. That wasn't it. And Logan hasn't had any drops in practice while he was practicing, because we know that he was injured. But it was just really alarming. Now, let's get to the defense, because we've already established you're going to get about one good half out of the offensive line. So whatever creativity, whatever you got going, you got to get out. You got to get out fast on the scoreboard. You got to hurry up and get there. The defense did what they should have done. Charles Mann, in his media availability, reminded everybody, because we tend to forget that defense wins championships. You have to stop the other team from scoring. You have to. I was so impressed when it was like it, because at first they started, hey, I was like, here we go, because the defense, let's be for real, they saved the day. But it didn't start out like how it ended with them either. They gave up a few big plays, and I said, oh, here we go. They made up for it. All right. But it was where they made up for it was getting the ball back where the offense could be in an optimal field position to score. That is what I can appreciate, that in the end, it worked out. But we're talking about a Dobbs ran offense, though. So it's good, but it wasn't what I expected to see. And I'm going to tell you all the truth. It was not what I expected, and it wasn't what they expected either. They were happy, but it was a little quiet. It was some concerned faces around that locker room, like, we won, right? Yes, everybody, yep, we won. Uh, but there was some mistakes that should not have been made that were, and those things need to be corrected because they were put on notice that they're playing professional football team now. You know, regardless, everybody 0-0, and everybody thinks they're going to the Super Bowl, and everybody thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, everybody, and everybody they gonna take their opportunity to absolutely beat you down. And that would have been pretty embarrassing if they would have lost to the Cardinals. That would have been sad. All right. So, um, DJ, I see your comment. I know you said you joined late, but you said the second half you knew the defense needed to take. Oh, yes. I said to help. That's all I can say. I said they need to come and help. Somebody's got to do something. Because the first couple plays in the second half, I said, okay, the offensive line, that's their time. That's their time. They done. They're done. And I see this comment here from Joe Harrison, disappointed in the play calling. I wasn't. I think what ended up happening was that Sam was struggling. Somehow he was struggling. And I think there might have been a degree of panic there. It was a degree of panicking. It was a degree of playing it safe. Let's just get this win and get out of here because we got some major issues that we have to correct. Again, it wasn't, there's some issues on offense. It's some issues, game on and the lights came on and everybody got a little worried. Now, we'll see what happens. I'll go ahead and take some of you all's bold predictions now for Denver. And we'll take some more of those later on in the week when we talk more, when we do the whole DMV sports update. We'll take some bold predictions about Denver. And I see DJ's comment here about Sam Howell. He's got a short memory. So the mistakes, and you saw a bit of that, right? You saw that. You saw he got himself together enough to get a touchdown. I mean, David Harrison said it right in the press box. I've never seen a quarterback make he did everything. He didn't the fumble for a touchdown. He did everything wrong and then turn around and still did right well enough to get a win. Cool. But that was against the Cardinals. So while he has a short memory, I'm sure he doesn't want to make those same mistakes again. That was something that Coach Bieniemy even complimented Sam on last week, which was he doesn't make these mistakes. And it's probably like the first time he's ever made those mistakes. And I'm just telling you, I'm still in shock. I had to get quiet at one point and start thinking like, yo, it was the nerves, but they can't be in Denver with nerves. And then when they come back home, they can't be in front of the Buffalo Bills with nerves, right? And then the week after that, they can't go up to Lincoln Financial Field with nerves. You're here now, and you got 60 minutes to play daggone good football to try to win a football game and to win. Okay, you don't win them all, but there's some that you need to be convincing enough to say we can do this and we can get this done. I can assure you they are a much better team than what they displayed in FedEx Field on week 1. They're much better than that. And they know they're much better than that. There wasn't no celebration or nothing like that. I mean, they know they got some work to do. And this isn't that kind of thing, right? They know that the season is long. And they know that some mistakes were made for sure. There were a couple other comments I think I wanted to address on the defensive side that I thought were important to bring up on the rotation of Forbes and St. Juice. Coach Rivera told the media today it's the personnel groupings more than it is about a rotation. And so certain groups will have certain DBs in it. It's one of those things to do with the same time. Kendall Fuller played yesterday. The way Benjamin played yesterday, you feel really good about those two veteran guys. So right now, there's not really a need or a push to say, okay, you're going to play every down. We can insert Emmanuel and get him comfortable and let him go out and get that kind of refocus, reset, get back out. Not that he needs to. He could probably stay out there all the time. And side note, I'm sure Emmanuel would love to, but this is about personnel groupings and the way we use those groupings. It's the same thing when we have some defenses where we only have one linebacker out there. Let me say this about the linebacker situation. There was at one point in time in the game, and if you were there, you may have seen it. I'm not sure what was shown on the television version, but Coach Del Rio and the linebacker coach was having a very intense conversation with Jamin Davis, and then Cody Barton came over there as well. One thing I can tell you all I have observed is that Jamin appears to be he's really close with Coach Del Rio. You know, they all have a good rapport with their coaches, and such that he may go up to coach after practice and say, hey, coach, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I want to work on this more. And then they work on it together and they're still out there. So that is a linebacker. That is a group that I have not brought up, but let's be very clear. They need some work. On the status of Chase Young's injury, I just put this up here from Coach Rivera, and let me just say this. I'm not real certain where all this energy has come from regarding Chase Young. I'm going to tell you what this is not anymore. This is not an era where you have an owner that wants someone to play injured and where you are going to be coerced into playing injured. The reality is simply this: whatever the doctor says, that's what happens. I have realized that this fan base is so hurt and traumatized by all of the horror stories from the previous ownership that a doctor recommended situation and a doctor's orders now equals a decision made by a player that he can't make. So here's what I'm going to say. I've been in that practice every single day. Since the season has started, because of my role at Bowie Television as the president, I'm dual hatting it right now, right? I'm still working the Commanders beat. I still do things with the Wizards, of course. But the role as the president has kept me. I was able to do every day of training camp. I did every single day until last week. I missed one day last week, two days last week. And Chase Young is one of the hardest working people in that practice, period. And I'm not real certain why anybody thinks he wants out, he wants anything. I don't know why anybody thinks that about him, but because I tell the truth, y'all got to stop that, because it's wrong. It's just incorrect information. And two, he's hurt. So there's a chance that 100% Chase may not happen. That's real life. That's a real injury he had. It was, he wasn't playing well or up to what people thought he should be playing. And then he gets hurt. And now you're just dealing with the fact that you're going to be dealing with lingering injuries maybe for the rest of your career. And I'm there. So if I saw something that wasn't right, I've told people that know me in real life know I say something. He's given no indication that he doesn't want to be there. He's given no indication that he works out. You see do you see how Montez Sweat is playing? Everybody that love Montez. Okay. You see how Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. Deron Payne said this, and I think I shared this clip one day on one of the shows. He said, we got two monsters on the end of our defensive line. Do you think Deron Payne is the type of person that would lie? He would really rather just not say anything. Here's the reality. Y'all know Montez a goon out there. You really think Chase just sitting up there watching the people that he works out with on the off season and on off days and time? You think he really just gonna be like, I'm gonna let them play and I'm gonna sit back and chill? Because sit back and chilling does what for whose pockets? Really nobody's. Nobody wins when you sitting at home chilling. So I really think it's important for me to say this because I tell y'all everything else. That's players don't necessarily pay attention, but it's just like everybody heard you booing, rightfully so, at that time. They're going to see that commentary too. And these guys, listen, again, if you got PTSD from the Dan Snyder years, I understand. 24 years is a long time to put up with trauma and poor treatment. It really is. It really is. But let me tell you something. These guys are tight. They're really close. All of them. Every single last one of them. If they felt like there was somebody in their core and their core is each and every single last one of them, there are no cliques, they're not going to entertain that type of behavior, period. So it's not that. And if things don't work out, because it's a possibility that they don't, you heard Charles Mann say, hey, we got to win now. Maybe you trade players, you do this, that, and third in order to win now. Those things happen. But the notion that Chase is putting up a front or that he's or that he's just trying to sit out because he doesn't want to play or anything like that, please stop that, because it's just not true. And it's not fair either. These guys, this is, as much as we all love football, this is a very, very dangerous sport. Dangerous. And it could change rapidly. And that's what happened to Chase. He got an injury that changed rapidly. Unfortunately, it was in a year where he wasn't already playing well. And now he has an injury that for some reason, and now everything else is happening too. And now it becomes he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to be here. They don't even tolerate that type of behavior in that building anymore. They don't even tolerate that. And here's the other thing I would like for you all to know, especially with these new owners, people actually like it. OMG, can you believe that? There are people that actually like being in the building. OMG. You've never heard that before. They are enjoying their time. That's why everybody was so quiet. Even though they won, there was nothing to smile about. There was nothing to celebrate. Yeah, you got the W, but you made some mistakes out there, buddies, and that's got to get cleaned up because you won't win too many more like that. I hope I cleared that up for you all. Sometimes we got to have this tough conversation. You know, I believe in transparency and authenticity. And I got to tell you all, I wouldn't have even brought this up if Chase was out there loafing. Oh, nah, he's a grinder. He's absolutely been grinding. But here we go with the situation, and this is where we are. Do you think it's smart? I'm going to answer a couple of questions if you all have any. I see one that came in. Do you think it's smart to start putting in rookies on the O-line if they can play? I mean, you got rookies on the defense. Emmanuel Forbes is a rookie. I mean, yesterday, Ricky Stromberg went in when Sam Cosmi had to go into concussion protocol for a moment. He's all right now. I update. Quan Martin is in concussion protocol. But it's, if you can play, put him in. That's what Charles Mann. I shared that. Go back and watch the beginning of the show. That's what Charles Mann was talking about in the job for Martin Mayhew. Somebody goes down, put him in. And if you beat somebody out of your job, we don't care what year you're in, year 1, year 10, year 12. If you can play and you're going to beat the other person on the side of the scrimmage line, put them in. Nobody has time for all that developmental stuff anymore. You got to show and prove today. You got to win now. Just like Charles Mann said, what are we waiting on? Win now. Go ahead and put them in. Why not? You all, we almost went a full hour of this. And I see nobody really put any bold predictions yet. Think about those bold predictions for Denver. Okay. And I'm going to think about some too. But I normally don't share mine until Sunday when somebody is talking to me. But I will definitely, you all have my word. When I'm wrong on my bold predictions, I'll tell you all just like I did today. You all listen. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you continue to tune in and share this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. You can always watch the replay and catch it on Bowie Television as well. You all have an amazing night, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.